But let's take a look at what is happening in the markets. And of course, the JSE is closed. It did get a mostly green handover from the Asian markets. This is amid a Chinese PMI for April showing that manufacturing activity remains in expansionary territory, even though it is slower. It did grow at a slower pace than we saw in March. So the JSE, they're dipping into the red, declining by 0.5%. We are seeing that pressure coming from the Resources 10 complex there that has nosedived to by almost 4.5%. The Financial 15 carrying most of the gains that we are seeing there, with a gain just shy of 1% and an advancement in the Industrial 25 of almost 0.4%. Let's take a look at what is happening with markets stateside. And of course, the Fed today starting its two-day rates meeting. Of course, we will get the interest rate decision tomorrow evening at around 8 p.m. while South Africa is still on holiday. Of course, this ahead of PCE inflation remaining sticky. But also we did see today also wages ticking up in March, of course, there through the employment index that we saw coming out this afternoon. So a sea of red over there, S&P 500 declining almost 0.2%, the tech-heavy Nasdaq slumping more than 0.75%, and the Dow there with a decline of almost 0.8%. Let's take a look at what is happening with markets across the Atlantic. Quite a few data points that the investors are digesting there, including inflation in the Eurozone. They're remaining unchanged in April from March, remaining at 2.4%, also coming out in line with market expectations. We also did see GDP there for the first quarter ticking up by 0.3%, of course, after the 0.1% decline that we saw in the last quarter of 2023. Quite a sea of negativity coming out over there as well. FTSE 100 remaining flat, just 0.02% below that flat line. The CAC 40 they're down by more than 1%, and the DAX declining almost 0.25%. Let's take a look at what is happening on the currency scene, and we start off with how the rand is doing against some of the major currency. A little bit of weakness coming through to the rand, almost 1% against the US dollar at 18.79 rand, against the pound at 23.53 rand, and against the euro at 20.08 rand. Let's take a look at what the other currency pairs are doing, starting off with the euro dollar at 1.06, the pound dollar at 1.25, and the yen just over 157 against the US dollar.